We are live, Your Honor.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to call to order the Newark City Council meeting for June the 12th. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let the record show that all council members are here, except for Council Member Terrence Grindal. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we will be adjourning the meeting in memory of Alexander Hartow, who was just 13 years of age and a bright light in the lives of all who knew him. Born and raised in Newark, Alexander was the beloved son of Tammy and Jeffrey Hartow, and a cherished brother of Samantha, Jeffrey, and Savannah. He was a student at Newark Middle School, where his curiosity, kindness, and sense of humor touched the hearts of his teachers and classmates alike. Alexander had a deep love for adventure and imagination. Alexander was an avid fan of the Ultraman series and Godzilla, and he was fascinated by the mysteries of the ocean. Whether he was boating or exploring the exhibits at an aquarium, one of his favorite places to visit, Alexander's eyes lit up with wonder and excitement. Though his time with us was far too short, Alexander's joyful spirit, boundless enthusiasm, and warm heart left a lasting impact on all that knew him. His memory will be carried forever in the hearts of his family, friends, and our community. So we will be adjourning this meeting tonight in his memory. We will be introducing our new employees. I would ask Ms. Brittany Fry to join me at the podium, please. Woo! It's always a pleasure to introduce new employees, especially when we're able to commandeer them from nearby cities. So Ms. Fry came to us from the city of Hayward. So we cast that wide net in the Bay Area from the little city of Newark, saying we're looking for that talent out there in the Bay Area, and the net landed on Ms. Fry, and we're so happy to have her join us. So Brittany Fry brings over 15 years of public sector leadership experience with more than a decade specializing in human resources, labor relations, and workforce transformation. Oh, by the way, she's our new Human Resources Director. She previously served as the Director of Human Resources for the City of Hayward, where she led major initiatives to modernize HR practices, enhance employee engagement, negotiate multiple labor agreements. We threw you right into the ocean here, didn't we? And implement workforce retention strategies. She has also held executive HR leadership roles at First 5 Alameda County and the Alameda County Fire Department. Brittany currently serves on the board of directors for the Northern California Human Resources Director Association. See, we don't just get folks that have experience, we get folks that have demonstrated leadership in their profession, where she collaborates with HR executives to advance public sector human resources practices. She holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in Leadership and Organizational Studies from St. Mary's College. Go Gales. Is a senior certified professional through the Society for Human Resources Management and holds a labor relations master certificate from the California Public Employees Labor Relations Association. Brittany is a Bay Area native and lives in the East Bay with her husband and 2 children. She enjoys spending time outdoors, hiking, and camping with her family. Please welcome Ms. Fry to the city of Newark.
Yay!
Okay.
She whispered in my ear, is it time for me to do the evaluation for the mayor? I said, no, that comes in November every other year. I'd like to welcome Tim All. Tim? Did I pronounce it? Okay, thank you. Tim joins us as an associate civil engineer. Really one of those critical positions in any city. All cities are looking for civil engineers, and when you're able to tap in and get somebody as qualified as Tim, you don't waste any time. He graduated from San Jose State University with a bachelor's degree in civil engineering and is a registered professional civil engineer. Prior to joining Newark, Tim was an associate civil engineer with the town of Atherton. Wow, that's a rich community.
I grew up in this area, had no idea where it was.
He's a civil engineer project manager at Greenberg Construction, a project engineer at Sazin and Moon Structural Engineering, and held interim positions at several construction companies, including Robert A. Boffman Construction. Tim is a Bay Area native and a current East Bay resident who enjoys sports, being outdoor with his dog, gardening, and tinkering on projects in the garage, as any engineer would, right? Let's welcome Tim. Gerald Yang. I get it. We're engineers, we hang together. Gerald Yang, another associate civil engineer. Happy to have him on board. He's a graduate from UC Davis, bachelor's degree in civil engineering, Sacramento State with a master's degree in civil engineering, and a registered professional civil engineer. Jared is a Newark resident. Let's hear it for Newark. Also a graduate of Newark Memorial High School. Prior to Newark, he was with the East Bay Municipal Utility District. Jared enjoys playing volleyball and going camping in his free time. Please welcome Jared to the city of Newark.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
It's such a pleasure to always introduce new employees, especially when they live and grew up in Newark, went to schools in Newark. You know, our city manager grew up in Newark, went to Newark schools, deviated for his bachelor's degree, and that's okay. We welcome him back. But anytime you can see young people grow up in your own community and come back and work in your community, it just means that the community is doing the right things. So I welcome these three employees. I think the city has done nothing, Ms. Hovorka, but hire outstanding staff. So you're to be commended, as is the city manager. This is a real special day for the city of Newark. This is our proclamation number 1945, proclaiming Juneteenth on June 19th. In a celebration, I'd like to invite the following folks to come up and join me at the podium, please. Miss Jean Ficklin. Miss Sandra Smith. Miss Susie Smith. Marion Langford. Linda Peet. How about city staff? Danielle Cranon Jones. Tiana Jones. Raquel Thomas. Adrian Frazier. I'm going to present you all with the certificate, and then I will read it, okay? I'll start over here. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as mentioned, this is Juneteenth Freedom Day, whereas June 19 is declared a Juneteenth Freedom Day a nationally recognized day which celebrates the rich culture, legacy, and heritage of Black and African American people. Whereas Juneteenth is the oldest known celebration commemorating the abolition of slavery in the United States, dating back to June 19, 1865, when Union soldiers led by General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, with news that the war had ended, freeing the enslaved 2.5 years after President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation. Whereas the U.S. Congress between 1865 and 1870 would pass key amendments to the United States Constitution that upon ratification by each state would profoundly change the legal status of those once enslaved. The 13th Amendment abolished bonded servitude. The 14th Amendment conferred citizenship upon those once enslaved. Finally, the 15th Amendment enfranchised people once held in bondage. Whereas recognizing Juneteenth as a state holiday acknowledges the importance of this historic day and honors the resiliency, the strength, and spirit of African Americans. It is a time for community gatherings, celebration, educational events that promote understanding, unity, and solidarity among all people. Whereas Juneteenth Freedom Day celebrates Black and African American people's freedom and achievement while encouraging continuous self-development and respect for all cultures, as it takes on a more national, symbolic, and even global perspective to ensure the events of 1865 are not forgotten. Now, therefore, I, Michael Hannon, the mayor of the city of Newark, on behalf of my colleagues on the city council, declare and proclaim June 19, 2025 as Juneteenth Freedom Day in the city of Newark, and ask all residents to observe the day with reflection, celebration, and commitment to the ongoing pursuit of freedom, justice, and equality for all. So I do issue that proclamation on behalf of my council, and I invite Ms. Jean Ficklin to say a few words. Ms. Ficklin.
I would like to share a few words about Opal Lee, the grandmother of Juneteenth. Retired teacher and counselor, Opal Lee worked for decades to make Juneteenth a federal holiday. She visited many different cities to fight for her cause. In each city, she walked 2.5 miles to represent the 2.5 years it took the news of the Emancipation Proclamation to reach Texas and free the enslaved people there. She collected signatures from 1.5 million people who also wanted Juneteenth to be a national holiday. When Miss Lee was my age, her dream came true. She was invited to Washington, D.C. on June 17, 2021, to watch as U.S. President Joe Biden signed a bill naming Juneteenth a federal holiday. Miss Lee was 94 years old.
Notice during the proclamation we use the word resiliency. So it doesn't matter how old you are, when you're fighting for freedom, when you're fighting for equality, it doesn't matter how old you are or how dedicated you are to the cause, you're going to make sure you get to see it done. So congratulations to her. Now I'd like to invite Danielle Cranon-Jones to say a few words, please.
Wow, how do I follow that? Good evening, everyone. First, I would like to sincerely thank the mayor and the city council and everyone involved in presenting this Juneteenth proclamation. I accept it with deep gratitude and humility, not just on my own behalf, but on behalf of my colleagues that stand with me this evening, past and present, who have contributed to this organization, this city, and this community in ways seen and unseen. Juneteenth is more than a date on the calendar. It is actually a symbol of freedom delayed but not denied. It marks a moment when enslaved African Americans in Texas learned years after the Emancipation Proclamation, that they were free. But Juneteenth also reminds us that freedom is not just about law. It's about justice, equity, recognition, and opportunity. And that work continues. To my colleagues, we carry the legacy of those who came before us, their strength, their dreams, and their unshakable hope. Let us honor them not just in ceremony, but in how we show up for each other and the community every day. This proclamation is appreciated, and we hope it marks not just a celebration, but a commitment to inclusion, to listening, to making space, and to ensuring that equity is more than a goal, it's a standard. This honor means a great deal, and while we receive it today, may its spirit carry forward through our actions, our voices, and our unity. Thank you again.
Let's get a photo. Council colleagues, why don't you come on down? Let's do a photo with the council. Such an important event for all of us. City Manager Newark, why don't you join us?
Can we do it in the center so we have the Newark?
Sure.
Yes.
See? Why do the question?
Oh, wait,
No. You stand.
It's E on it.
You and Gene stand.
E stands for MG. All right.
Oh, wait, let me get on that.
We could put, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Show you to hide my
Okay.
Okay.
We got everybody?
Perfect, Micah. Okay, ready? Actually, Micah, scoot over a tiny bit this way so we can see your face. Okay, yay. Thank you, friends.
Is everything okay?
A break here to say goodbye. Bye, Miss Jean. Bye.
I'll wait till next July when. I was just looking out because I didn't want to misquote. We're all familiar with the Martin Luther King statement about judge individuals based on the content of their character and not the color of their skin. You know, we continue to emphasize that. I mean, he made those comments, I think it was been 1968, if I'm not mistaken. And, you know, here we are, you know, almost 60 years later, and we're still having to remind ourselves that it's really the character of the individual, the triumphs of the individual, the successes of the individual that we judge, not based on their religion, not based on their ethnicity, not based on their sexual orientation. It's the things that are important to your community, to your family, that we need to judge, folks. And at some point, we'll continue to remind ourselves of that, and we'll get there. The next item is public comment. This is an opportunity for folks to speak on any item that is not on the agenda tonight. Is there anybody that would like to speak under public comment? I see the associate engineers are staying seated.
For now.
For now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close public comment and go to the consent calendar. The consent calendar consists of the following items: approval of audited demands, approval of May 22, 2025 minutes, adopt the resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a third amendment to the contractual services agreement with Good City Company for professional planning services. 4, adopt a resolution establishing the fiscal year 2025-2026 tax appropriations limit. Ms. Lee, I hope to hit that limit someday. It's only, what, $597 million or somewhere around there? Someday we'll hit that. Adopt a resolution approving the Road Repair and Accountability Act of 2017, Senate Bill 1, fiscal year 2026 project list. Is there anybody, Assistant City Manager, is there any item you'd like to pull?
Not this evening, Your Honor.
Anybody in the public that would like any item pulled? Ms. Lee, you're not going to bring up $578 or $580 million and present it to the council?
Hopefully in the future.
In the future, beautiful. Colleagues, anything you want pulled from the agenda?
I just have a question.
Yes,
On,
which one?
my question is on the resolution with the Good City Company. Is that the ones that we do our permitting with?
They
Yeah,
provide
D3.
plan check
D3?
services. Yeah. Do you, is this a clarification question?
This is a
that I
clarification
can
question
answer
for me.
now?
Is this the people that we do our permitting with that we had?
They provide plan check services. It can have Deputy
Oh.
Community Development Director Art Ontario answer more fully.
Yes. The Good City contract, yes, it's for our planners who also do permit reviews and other plan checks and other projects. Yes.
Were these the individuals that worked on the circus situation?
On the circus permit, I'm not aware of that permit right now,
No?
but
Okay, thank you.
yes.
Why don't we go ahead and follow up to the Vice Mayor on that question as to whether or not this was an organization that helped us with the permitting for
Thank
the
you.
circus event
Thank you.
at New Park Mall. And just a reminder to my colleagues, because we're new, when we have an item that we want to have a conversation about, what we typically will do, you'll ask the mayor, I'd like to pull item D3
Thank you.
for a question. And then what we'll do typically then is adopt the remaining consent calendar and then come back to D3.
I'd like that.
Just an FYI.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll get a little bit additional information on that item D3. With that in mind, can I get a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Are you looking for a motion to approve items D1 through D5?
Yes, sir.
Or are we
D1
going
through
to pull
D5, yeah.
D3?
Yeah.
I'll move to, I'll move the entire consent calendar.
Thank you, sir. That's moved by Councilmember Jorgens,
I'll second.
second by Councilmember Contancio. Thank you very much. Please vote. And that carries with 4 ayes, with Councilmember Grindal absent this evening. Next, we have a couple of public hearings. The first one is E1. It's a hearing to consider property owners' objections to the 2025 weed abatement program and instructions to the superintendent of streets to abate these public nuisances. Assistant City Manager Havorka.
Thank you, Your Honor. Tonight, we have Maintenance Superintendent Tanya Connolly that will provide us with the staff report. Ms. Connolly.
Welcome.
Good evening. Good evening, Your Honor, members of the council, Assistant City Manager Havorka, City Attorney Cockateo. Item E1 is a public hearing to consider property owners' objections with respect to the 2025 weed abatement program. On May 8th, council initiated this year's weed abatement hearing and set the public hearing for this evening. Notices were mailed to 120 affected property owners, giving them a 1-month-long period to advise the city if they intend to abate the weeds themselves or object to the city's abatement. Property owners who want to abate their own weeds must do so before the city contract work begins on June 16th. Any abatement action taken would result in obligation of the property owner to pay the city's direct cost associated with the abatement, as well as a 20% administrative fee. As of yesterday, Dan Ciancerello, our maintenance supervisor, and Adrian Frazier with Newark Fire Prevention identified 21 lots that were not mowed. Tonight, the council should open the public hearing to consider any objections that are raised by the public, and then after the closing of the public hearing, to direct staff to abate the public nuisances, and as of today, we have not received any objections. That concludes our staff report. Thank you.
Before I open up the public hearing, clarifying, go ahead and open up the public hearing. This is an opportunity for any resident who has received notification from the city that we will be abating the weed or nuisance on your property to come forward and voice your objection. Is there anybody here that would like to object to this item? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing and return it back to staff, or sorry, colleagues, any questions? Otherwise, I'll look for a motion to support staff's recommendation.
I'll move the item.
Thank you, Councilmember
I'm
Jorgens.
a big fan of the weed abatement program, I think, when we can do things that people think that we're doing anyways. That's always good. And as we look towards, being proactive in different, code enforcement areas, looking at, this is, a program that I'm a big fan of, so I'm happy to move this item.
Thank you. And Vice Mayor seconded it, and I support the comments of my colleagues. I'm pleased to hear that we're down to 21 property owners that decided not to participate, and they'll pay us that 20% fee for not doing so. I'm just hopeful that as we continue to send these notices in the future, that folks won't wait for notification from the city, but will just begin managing their property as any good property owner would. So let's go ahead and take a vote on this item. And Councilmember Grindal being absent. You all think, how does he happen to know that? I'm a mind reader. So anything further on this item? Okay, great. Public hearing to consider adoption of a resolution approving the fiscal year 2025-2026 master fee schedule and related fee adjustments. Assistant City Manager Havorka.
Thank you, Your Honor. Tonight we have Senior Accountant Michelle Villanueva, who will provide the staff report.
Welcome.
Ms. Villanueva.
Thank you. Good evening, Your Honor, and members of the council. My name is Michelle Villanueva, Senior Accountant with the Finance Department. Tonight, I'm presenting to you for your consideration the proposed amendments to the City of Newark's City of Newark's master fee schedule for fiscal year 2025 through 26. Each year, council holds a public hearing to approve amendments to the city's master fee schedule. Staff reviews the master fee schedule annually to ensure the fees are aligned with the actual cost of services. This is a collaborative process across departments and includes a comprehensive analysis of both direct and indirect costs. The last comprehensive update to the master fee schedule took place in November 2024, following a comprehensive cost of service analysis. At this time, no across-the-board fee increases are proposed. Instead, the master fee schedule includes targeted adjustments to select fees, while others remain unchanged. A detailed list of the proposed fee updates is included in Exhibit A of the staff report. Highlights of the proposed changes includes adjustments to existing fees to meet cost recovery goals, including increases and decreases. Additions and revisions in recreation services, such as athletic field prep fees, updated rental terminology, and increased aquatic rental fees to reflect facility enhancements. Changes to fire service fees, including new state-mandated inspection fees and updates to fire code operational permits. Decreases in various impact fees based on changes to the engineering news record construction cost index. If approved, the master fee schedule would be effective July 1st, 2025, with the exception of the development-related fees, which will become effective 60 days following council adoption in accordance with state law. Staff recommend that the council adopt the resolution approving the master fee schedule for fiscal year 2025 through 26. This concludes my presentation. Representatives from various departments and I are available for any questions.
Great. Colleagues, before I open up to the public hearing, any questions, comments regarding the master fee schedule? Okay, I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your opportunity to have a conversation with the City Council regarding the master fee schedule, whether you have suggestions that you would like us to hear. Is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak to the master fee schedule? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and return it to the council. Any questions, comments? The only question I have, Ms. Havorka, as we just approved the contract with the folks to provide professional planning services. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think we typically pay a kind of a premium when we contract out some of those services. In other words, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, if we had a planner sitting in that position, it would charge a certain hourly rate based on their cost to the organization. Is it a similar cost when we contract those services out for professional services? If my question is clear?
I'm going to refer your question to Finance Director Kristen Lee as she's getting up out of her seat.
Good evening, Your Honor, council members. Yes, when we do the cost analysis, contract costs are considered and incorporated into the rates that are set at the time.
Thank you. Thank you. This is always one of my favorite topics because having worked in government, as a number of us have, it's important that we not subsidize work that we provide to our community, whether they be business owners, property owners, whatever the case may be. There's a certain cost for service, and we need to make sure that we charge for those costs because we need to be fiscally responsible to our community. So if there's no questions, I'll look for a motion to adopt the master fee schedule. By the Vice Mayor.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Contancio. Please vote. And that passes unanimously, 4 ayes, with Councilmember Grandal being absent this evening.
Resolution of the City of Newark amending master fiscal year 2026.
Thank you. Assistant City Manager Havorka, City Manager updates.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have several this evening. Starting with tomorrow is the kickoff to our Groovin' at the Grove concert series at Shirley Sis Grove. Tomorrow night is Isaiah Pickett, and gates open at 4 o'clock. The concert is from 5 to 7:30 p.m. And those concerts will be occurring every other week throughout June and July. And next, we talked a little bit about Juneteenth earlier this evening. The event the city is hosting is on June 19th from 1 to 5 p.m. at the Silliman Center parking lot. There'll be music, drums, games, arts and crafts, food vendors, and educational exhibits. We also have Big Truck Day, another free community event run by our Recreation and Community Services Department. That's on Tuesday, June 24th from 10 to 11:30 a.m., also in the Silliman Center parking lot. And then we have a self-defense seminar for seniors age 55 and plus. That's a 2-hour seminar on Wednesday, June 26th, beginning at 10 a.m. Registration is required and can be done at our senior center or our Silliman Center. We also have a small business workshop series. Those will be on Mondays, June 23rd and 30th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. in the Newark Library Community Meeting Room. So that is it's a free workshop series tailored for food business operators and inspiring entrepreneurs seeking to strengthen their operations and build long-term sustainability. Again, the workshops are free and they're open to all Newark businesses and residents, and translation services will be available in Spanish, Vietnamese, and Mandarin. And then lastly, we have a Sea Level Rise community outreach event. This is on Wednesday, June 25th at the Newark Library from 6 to 8 p.m. And that is to solicit input from our community on the city's sea level rise vulnerability assessment and adaptation strategy. And there is information on our website and Facebook page. Thank you, Your Honor.
And thank you, Assistant City Manager Havorka. Were all those dates listed in the City Manager's Tuesday report, as far as you know?
The flyer for the small business workshop was included, and the dates for the events were the Sea Level Rise Community Outreach event, I believe needs to be added.
Thank you. Anything else, Assistant City Manager?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Colleagues, comments? Start with Councilmember Contancio.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Thank you so much, too, to close the session in honor of Alexander from our middle school, and he will be missed. His mother's also a great part of Newark and is a worker at BGP Birch Grove Elementary School. Additionally, we did have a very successful graduation, and so that was really wonderful as well. We also had a great presentation by Stephen Turner for the Newark Optimist Club. Additionally, we did have Fishing in Newark event that just happened over last weekend, and that was very successful. So that's when they also trained the students and children 5 to 15 how to fish. And so that event happens twice a year, and so we just had that. Over the weekend, I was also a keynote speaker for American Association of University Women, and I did that along with our vice mayor as well to represent Newark. And we also celebrated with Assemblymember Lee Pride Month at Niles Discovery Church. So I went there along with colleague Jorgens to represent Newark. I just wanted to also close with, please shop Newark. So I know that's a slogan that we've heard so many times before, but I really believe that we can continue to help our community thrive so long as we continue to support our community in all ways possible. Thank you.
Excellent. Councilmember Jorgens.
Nothing for me to say.
Vice Mayor Little. You're not going to let the assistant city manager have more items than you, are you?
Oh, no, I'm on empty right now. I just wanted to add to the fishing in the city, a huge shout out to Newark Recreation and Community Services along with Public Works. You guys rocked it. It was crazy amount of people that came out. Kids were all in order, lots of catfish, big fish. They were like this big, and a lot of happy faces, a lot of happy smiles, and it couldn't have been done without you guys back there. So thank you so much for your hard work. There were so many kids there, and there was very little line. Everyone was super happy, and every couple of minutes you hear a scream and a yell and a kid run around with a net. So it was really wonderful to see the city going back to roots and kids getting off electronics, which is something I'm huge for.
Excellent. I have a couple items. First of all, I want to congratulate the 28 firefighters that graduated from the academy, and the vice mayor joined me last Friday for that graduation ceremony. It's the most graduates they have ever had at one ceremony. And remember, these are folks who are going to be working in the city of Newark on a rotational basis. So I had the opportunity, as did the vice mayor, as they were waiting outside to enter the stage, I shook each one of their hands and said, "Welcome to Newark," because you're going to be in Newark soon. And they're really excited. And, we really have an outstanding relationship with our fire department through the county. And, the more that we can foster that outstanding relationship, the better service, we'll continue to receive from them. I'm not sure how they could deliver better service than they already do, but it was a great opportunity to attend that event. How many mayors were there for that event?
The answer is 0, just you and me.
Okay, all right.
Very proud to say we were happily there.
Secondly, I want to take big thanks to our city manager and our assistant city manager. Government is a 24/7 job. It's not like, 5 o'clock, I'm done. No calls. I called our city manager Saturday morning because I received a call from State Senator Wahab saying, we have some additional funds that might be available to Newark, but I need information really fast. About $1 million. If you have an infrastructure project or something that you could utilize $1 million, I need something relatively quickly. I got on the phone to the city manager, who got on the phone to the assistant city manager, and we got it together. And whether or not at the end of the day we're successful in getting that $1 million plus, we recognize the value of $1, and if you give us $1 million and give me a little bit of time to go search for it or grab it, we're going to do so. But big thanks to the assistant city manager and the city manager for working with me to get that done, and hopefully we'll be successful. That's all you can do. I want to close by making the following statement. Dear Newark residents, I want to acknowledge and appreciate the discomfort felt by many of our residents as we see and hear of immigration enforcement actions here in California and across the country. I want to emphasize that your city council has on 2 separate occasions issued resolutions that the city of Newark is a welcoming community that celebrates and embraces its many cultures. In essence, we are a community that promotes inclusiveness and mutual respect. In our welcoming city resolution, we have reaffirmed that our Newark Police Department adheres to the California Values Act that states that they do not participate in federal immigration laws. We will not take any actions that would result in undermining community trust and deterring or discouraging law-abiding community members from reporting crimes or otherwise seeking services. We will always support the First Amendment rights of our community members to peacefully express their opinions or protest peacefully on issues of significant concern. I've asked the Vice Mayor if she'd be kind enough to translate that statement in Spanish.
All right. Queremos saber que, let me see. A todos los residentes aquí en Newark, quiero que ustedes sepan que estamos aquí para reconocer y apreciar el malestar de que han sentido muchas de las personas que están aquí y para escuchar, que cuando han escuchado con las acciones que está pasando ahorita con la inmigración en el estado de California y también sobre todo el país. También quiero que ustedes sepan que hemos tenido 2 veces de ocasiones que hemos puesto resoluciones de nuestra ciudad diciendo que nosotros somos una comunidad que abre y estamos bienvenidos a todas las personas de aquí. Y sé que estamos de acuerdo de celebrar y tener de acuerdo muchas diferentes culturas y diferentes gentes. Es decir, que nosotros somos una comunidad que promociona la inclusión y el respeto mutual para todos. En nuestra resolución de bienvenida de nuestra ciudad, nosotros reafirmamos una vez más que el Departamento de la Policía de Newark está parte de los valores del Estado de California, que dice que no vamos a participar con las leyes federales de la inmigración que están diciendo las cosas de la federal. Tampoco no vamos a tomar acciones que estaría resultando que vamos a perder la confianza o que vamos a no estar de acuerdo con las personas que de nuestra ciudad que como que sean seguros y cómodos de reportar si hay crímenes o cualquier cosa tipo de así también. Siempre vamos a soportar el derecho de la primera enmienda con nuestros miembros de nuestra ciudad para estar aquí para expresar pacíficamente su opinión o procesar sobremente las grandes preocupaciones que tienen ustedes en nuestra ciudad. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. On that, we are adjourned.
They gave it to me in English. I have to translate it at the same time. No es bueno.